maybe I'm inappropriate. I like hearing stories, I like the whole script. You're such a freaky girl, I love it.
Okay, so this one's pretty simple. I got a question that said, how do I go about changing my name on Cash App? And it's extremely simple. I just have an iPhone, but I'm pretty sure it would be the same thing on Android. But just to answer that, you just click on your profile picture. You're in the Cash App. You just click on your profile picture right here. Then you go to personal, and then you can literally make it whatever you want to. Your hashtag or your cash tag you can change, but your full name, see mine says Nikki New Hope. You can't see it. It says Nikki New Hope. You can change that whenever you want to. But I was just, as I explained in another video previously, you need to make sure that if you are going to transfer it to a bank, your bank account, your personal bank account, because for whatever reason, which isn't completely necessary at all. I was just doing that when I think my cash card, I got fingernail glue on it or something. But I mean, because you can order a Cash App card. I showed it on my TikTok, and they're pretty cute. You can design it with whatever little emojis you want on it, and it can say whatever you want. And they have white and they have black, and they're pretty cute little cards. And they actually now just added routing and account numbers, which they didn't used to have. And I think that's another reason why I used to transfer it to my bank account, because some things you need routing and account numbers for, such as getting paid on a lot of these websites, you know, otherwise they're gonna send you a check. So they didn't used to have routing and account numbers. Now they do. So you can treat it just like, almost just like a regular bank account. The only limitations would be if something required a credit card, like renting a car or anything else that requires a credit card. If you're signing up for Afterpay for some reason, things like that absolutely must be credit cards, because when you try to input the Cash App card information into those websites, they'll kick it back and be like, no, prepaid cards allowed. But for the most part, everything else, it will totally work on the Cash App card, and the Cash App card works at the ATM. You can withdraw money. You can't load money physically, to my knowledge, yet, but the routing and account numbers really change the whole game, because it makes everything a lot easier, especially on sex workers, in my opinion. So, like I was saying, just change your name to whatever you want it to be, your stage name, something vague, whatever you want it to show up as, because it's going to show up on their end of things. And if you are using Cash App, then make sure before you transfer it to the bank, if you're going to transfer it to a bank, that you change it back to your government name before you do that. Otherwise, it's going to happen like I had Safe Checking, and my mailing address was at my dad's. He lives a couple towns away. So I just go to get my mail like every couple months or something like that. So I wasn't checking it or whatever. Apparently they were sending me letters in the mail that were saying, please stop sending this money to your bank account because it looks like business transactions, because I wasn't changing my name back to my government name. I was just like willy-nilly, like, fuck it, like just send it. Like, and I was sending the same increments a lot of the times to my bank account, so it should be like a couple $100s at a time. Not every time, but like it was mostly the name thing, because when I called them and I'm like, my checking or my ATM card doesn't work, I just tried to get money out of the ATM, what's going on? You know, I called the bank, Safe Checking, and they were like, oh, your account's been closed. And I'm like, been closed for what? And she's like, oh, let me see. She looks and she's like, oh, it got closed because you were doing business transactions and using it for business purposes on a personal checking account. And I'm like, no, I wasn't. And she's like, well, it says here that you were. Who is Nikki New Hope? And I'm like, oh, I just put that on my Cash App because I didn't want people to see my real name. And then, you know, is the question, why don't you want people seeing your real name? You know what I mean? So that was the end of that. I asked her, so can I open another checking account? Like, I didn't know. Well, we sent you letters, and no, you cannot ever bank with us again. And so that's the end of that. So absolutely make sure that, and the same thing with Venmo and PayPal, because I'm not allowed to have a PayPal or a Venmo account anymore. But back when I did, Venmo, I would change my name to my stage name so that they couldn't see my real name. And what was it? I requested money to go to my bank account. I hadn't changed my name back to my government name like I should have. And then it was like $500 or something. It was just in limbo. It wasn't in my Venmo account because I sent it to my bank account and it wasn't showing up in my bank account. And so I called them and I'm like, what gives, you know? And they were like, well, we can't send the money to somebody else's bank account. And I'm like, this isn't somebody else's bank account. This is my bank account. Like, I registered with this information. Like, it matches my ID. And they were like, well, Nikki Newhope doesn't match your ID, so it looks fraudulent. And I'm like, okay, so what do I do? And they're like, well, what you do is you give us your address, we send you a check, and you never fucking open an account with us again. And that was the end of that. Another thing to mention would be Cash App and Venmo are apps made specifically for friends or family to send money to each other for non-business purposes, for like in case you want to split gas, or in case you want to split dinner, or in case somebody owes you part of the rent, or in case you want to send a birthday gift to somebody or whatever. It's intended for friends and family only. And so if somebody is a stupid ass on the other end of this, like if somebody's sending you money and they're really stupid and they decide to write in the description, because I'm pretty sure both of them require a description. If not, then Venmo definitely requires a description when you're sending a payment. And if you get somebody that is just dingy, they'll write in there like something really stupid, okay? Like for a good time, or for pictures, or for a session, or something like that. Like anything that sounds businessy and not like friends, like we know each other, and you know what I'm saying? You get my drift? And they will close your fucking account for that. And they'll keep your money if they want to. So you just have to be very careful. Very careful. Have them always just tell them right in the description box for dinner or for gas. So then you know that that's at least not an issue. And yeah, always just change the name back. That's all I can think of right now. If I think of something else, I'll let you know.